Hi, this is Sarah.
And this is Rachel.
And this is the Diaries, a podcast where we rip apart, episode by episode, the Vampire Diaries. Warning, this is a rewatch podcast. We always talk about spoilers and how they'll relate in the future to this episode.
Yeah, I definitely think they can come up in this episode. This week, we're talking about Season 2, Episode 3, Bad Moon Rising. This is another road trip episode for Damon and Elena and their third wheel, Alaric. And
who's finally back.
Yeah, he's finally back. He's been gone doing God knows what.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Teaching, he says in the next one.
Sure. Yeah, so he's back. He goes on a little road trip, and we're also dealing with Caroline's first day as a vampire, basically.
Yeah, which she says later that it's been a few days, so I don't really know where we're at in the timeline necessarily, but it has been some amount of time, but it's still not a lot. She's still in the early stages.
Definitely.
And clearly they're although I don't know, because they go into this first scene, which is at the Salvatore house, where Alaric is called over to the house to meet with Stefan, Damon, and Elena. And, basically Elena says that they need help. They need Alaric's help because, this whole Lockwood thing, they don't know what's going on. They want to get some research. They want to try to understand it. And that they think that Alaric can help them by getting them access to Isobel's research. And so clearly, Stefan spotting Mason doing parkour at the carnival was enough to tell them that they need to actually take this seriously and figure out what's going on. So I don't know if it's a day after the carnival or if a few days, but we're somewhere in there.
Yeah, it's definitely shortly thereafter. They've got this plan together, and this is the first step they're taking to figure out what the Lockwoods are.
Yeah, and clearly they're just kind of grasping at straws here. They don't even know where to start.
Sure.
They're like, Isobel said she reresearched Mystic Falls, so maybe she'll have
know
something.
What's going on. Yeah.
And so they do ask Alaric, what Isobel might know, what does her research kind of say? And he says, he always thought of it as folklore, it always was just stories. Yeah. And Damon's like stories about vampires, obviously there's some truth to this stuff.
Yeah.
And Alaric does say, he did always think they were false. Clearly they're not.
Yep.
And, Elena asks what other things there might have been, and he says the lycanthrope, which shockingly Elena knows means werewolf. I was surprised that Elena, of all people, knew that. I just feel like it's out of character because she doesn't strike me as the girl that's watching vampire or werewolf movies or anything.
No. Yeah, I feel like I've watched a lot of these shows. I didn't know this until the Vampire Diaries. I've never heard of lycanthrope before. Yeah,
there was some series, and I don't remember the name. Somebody remind me of it if you know, where there was vampires and werewolves, and it was very adult. That was around this time, and that was how I knew because they did call him lycanthrope in that. Yeah. But yeah, it's Elena's not watching that kind of stuff, so I was surprised. But she does kind of ask. She's like werewolves.
Yeah.
And, they're kind of thinking this is impossible. Damon's in 160 years, I've never seen a werewolf, so they're not real.
Yeah.
But of course, they're gonna go over,
see what's going on.
Yeah, because they've got all this evidence, the device affected the mayor and Tyler. Mason showed inhuman-like abilities with strength and the jumping and the eyes.
Yeah.
And clearly something's going on, and they do need to look into it. And Damon emphasizes that this could be really bad for them if Mason is a werewolf.
Him specifically. He sort of emphasizes this could be bad for me.
Yes, this will not work out for me personally. And especially if Tyler is too. So, because Mason might come and go, but Tyler is a part of this little community, and it could be really bad.
Yeah, he's a junior in high school. He's going to be here for at least a little while.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe Carol's a wolf too. They don't know.
That's true. Yeah, they have no idea.
Yeah.
So they got to get to the bottom of this.
Meanwhile, Tyler also, is trying to get to the bottom of this.
Yep.
At the Lockwood property, Tyler is running around the Lockwood house, the Lockwood property, following Mason as he's going for a run. And he goes
this is being cut in between what Damon and Alaric and Stefan and Elena are saying.
Yes, and Mason goes to where the old Lockwood property was that burnt down, and goes to this dark cellar that still exists underground. And, he goes in and then comes out, and then Tyler goes in later, and, he sees chains on the walls and these deep scrapes, the size of a human hand in the wall. And, it's very creepy. It's very suspicious. And then that's kind of what we get there, title screen.
Yeah, then we see this whole episode is going to be about figuring out what's going on with Mason.
Yeah. Confirming what we know or not about werewolves. Do they exist?
Yeah. What's going on? Someone else also trying to figure out what's going on.
Good segue.
Poor Maddie Blue Eyes. He's banging on Caroline's door. Not really that dramatically, but he's going over to Caroline's house. He's trying to see what's going on with Caroline. Mm-hmm. And she's not like mad at him or anything. She tries to like go open the door, but she can't go in the sun yet.
Yeah.
So she kind of just has to not answer the door, duck his calls. She also, I'm forgetting the most important part of the scene to me, the most memorable part. She comes out to open the door and she's wearing a bejeweled, like, graphic t-shirt, the smokiest eye, like, only you can stop Caroline from having this forest fire smoky eye. She's wearing capris, ballet flats.
Oh my god.
It's a mess.
It's my least favorite outfit in the entire series. Like, zero exaggeration. If you asked me any given day, week, month, year, I would tell you this outfit exactly is my least favorite. It sits so heavy in my brain. It's like the denim capris, this heavily bedazzled shirt that's so like 2000s. This is 2010. We're like kind of past that phase. So it's shocking that she's wearing it.
We're past this,
they could get away with it in the first season, but like we're in the 10s now. Leave it behind.
It's too late for this. Yeah,
and then the smoky eye, which it's the morning, it's the start of the day, the deep smoky eye. But I will say, I did see someone talking about this outfit in like a TikTok comment section once, which kind of swayed me, not necessarily in its favor, but in its forgiveness, which was that, clearly it speaks to this like idea of Caroline just being trapped inside and bored and not allowed to talk to anybody. And when you're trapped inside and you're bored, especially as a teenager, you're like, I'm gonna play with my makeup. I'm gonna try on clothes that I've never tried on before. Like, just make random outfits that don't work because I'm really bored.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what, that actually does perfectly justify at least the smoky eye, for sure, of like, oh yeah, that definitely would have been me as like a 16, 17-year-old trapped inside. I'd be like, let's try out a smoky eye today.
Yeah, no, that's true. And the other thing I was thinking about the outfit, which again makes it forgivable, not excusable, but forgivable a little bit.
Yeah.
It's also a very finding yourself outfit to me.
Yeah,
it's
identity crisis.
Yeah, it's like not only is she bored, locked in the house, she's also trying to figure out who she is. She's like, maybe I'll try this smoky eye and this weird shirt and these capris.
Yeah, because it's so unlike a lot of the stuff that Caroline... I mean, think about her outfits in season 1. It's so girly, so frilly, so light, pastels. It's so opposite of that it definitely does speak to this idea of like, she doesn't know who she is and she's trying to figure it out. Yeah,
she's going dark Caroline for an episode.
Yeah, for one episode, which is ballet flats, denim capris, and a bejeweled t-shirt. It's so dark.
I know, which also, I kind of feel like works. Like, it's like...
It is the dark version of Caroline.
Was trying to have like a dark version.
Yeah, she's not wearing like a leather jacket or like a slinky like capris. Top. Yeah, it's just capris. Dark.
I love her.
But anyway, Matt does show up to try to see her, and she can't get to the door. And he leaves. He calls her and leaves a message, and he says that Tyler's throwing a party at the swimming hole, and he really wants to spend the day with her. But obviously, like, she doesn't answer, and she just has to like slink to the floor, and she just sits there and looks really sad. So that's where Caroline's at for now, just trapped inside, no daylight ring yet.
Back at Elena's house, Elena and Stefan are in Elena's room. Elena's getting ready to go on this trip, packing a bag. I guess it's just going to be a day trip, but she's still getting things together. And Stefan is asking her if she's sure she wants to go and asking her how she feels about going. And Elena asks, because I'd be finding out about my mom or because I have to go with Damon. Yeah. Which, Damon's going on this trip, as we already said.
Stefan isn't.
Yeah, Stefan isn't. He's got to stay and deal with Caroline, make sure she's good. Obviously helps her out a lot in this episode that we'll get to. But, and Elena says, or Stefan says both reasons. Yeah. But Elena says she needs to do this, and Stefan sort of agrees. So, that's pretty...
Yeah, that's pretty much where they sort of land with this. Is Stefan doesn't seem too happy about it either. He doesn't want to have her have to be with Damon. Yeah. But he also does see the value in being like, this is such an opportunity for you to like learn so much more about your lineage, and not just Isobel, but also Katherine, and like what this means for you. And this is important. So like you do have to do it, and I support you in doing it. Yeah. But they're not happy about it.
No.
Then Jenna is finally back.
Yes.
Finally, thank God. And so she's downstairs and Alaric shows up. Jenna and Alaric, finally.
Yeah.
But the vibes are weird. I did not realize. I think this might be the first time we've seen them together since the weird, like, kissing incident at the auction when he, like, then later found out that Isobel, his wife, was married to or had Elena secretly. Like, I don't think they've interacted
Did they
at all really since then. I need to confirm.
I know. I need to confirm too. I feel like I thought they might have interacted during
Miss
the
Mystic,
finale.
they were kind
Miss
of
Mystic,
around.
Yeah.
Miss Mystic, they were together, but they haven't had any significant interaction since that scene for sure. I'm like pretty positive.
I think you're right.
Now that I think about it, they were around together at Miss Mystic, and I think at Under Control, but like it wasn't notable. Like they've kind of just been on and off. I mean, both of them haven't been in any of the last few episodes anyway.
Yeah, which I was going to bring that up. Alaric says, things have been on and off, and I was thinking about it. I was like, have they been? I don't know. We just haven't seen them enough for me to even remember if things have actually been on and off.
I think that's the implication since they haven't been on screen is that like she's been busy with school, he's been like really busy with all this vampire stuff and whatever else, and so like the vibes are just weird. That's just kind of where we're at. But Jenna does say like thank you for bringing Elena. It's important that she gets to know her mother, and I'm like glad that you are like taking her on this. Like it, it's really good for her. So they're like not in a bad place by any means, and like. They do kind of get to the end of this where he like tries to apologize, but she's like, "No, just figure it out and like come back. Like it's fine."
Cool. I know. I was thinking in this scene, which I feel like I'll have so much to say about Jenna this whole season.
Yeah.
But I was thinking in this scene, I love Jenna, and I think it's because, well, first of all, we're like her age now.
Yeah, that's
true. So I feel like she's much more relatable rewatching now.
Yeah.
But also, I'm like, I love her. She is just like a cool girl. She's like,
so cool.
You do what you have to go do. Like. You be you. I'm not mad at you. I'm not like jealous or upset about Isobel. Like,
which again, the age thing is so different because the maturity versus like the teenagers is so different.
Very, very different. Yeah, I relate to Jenna more watching it at this age than I would have.
And then immediately relate to and love her again because Elena comes downstairs and she stops in front of Jenna and she's like. Are you okay? Like, I think she sees that she interacted with Alaric and it was a little awkward.
Weird, yeah.
And so she's like, "Are you okay?" And Jenna just goes, "Yeah, just men and their baggage."
Yes!
She like scoffs. I'm like,
I know.
I love Jenna.
I know. It's like I love Jenna.
She's so funny.
Yeah, she's so good. I love her.
She just gets it.
She really does.
Speaking of men and their baggage, Damon is waiting outside to get in the car. What must Jenna think that Damon is clearly going on this trip with Alaric and Elena to learn about her birth mother, and Stefan isn't going? Like,
and Damon is?
Yeah, there's zero justification for Damon to be going on this trip, other than he's friends with Alaric. That's kind of the only, like,
I guess. But they're not even, like, that good of friends at this point. Like, especially not that Jenna would know, I don't think.
Jenna would know. I think Jenna might be like, oh, they're starting, like, they're friendly.
Yeah.
I think the next one, when he comes to the barbecue, kind of cements them as, like, friends, at least in
That's true.
a public eye. But, yeah, it's still, like, weird. It's like, why would Damon go on this trip for Alaric to clean up his like, wife's old office and Elena to, like, get to see some stuff about her birth mother? Like, why does Damon need to be there?
I mean, even I am wondering. Like, my only rationale is he's the one that's kind of like spearheading this. Let's figure out what the Lockwoods are.
Which that's the real reason.
Caroline.
Yeah, that's the real reason. Is Damon wants to figure out what's going on with the werewolf situation, and he's not going to let anybody get away with that. And of course, what ends up happening, it is good to have a vampire around for all of that.
Yes, definitely.
But from Jenna's perspective, it's like there's no like human justification as to why Damon needs to be there and like Stefan doesn't. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, no, but. Yeah, Damon's waiting by the car, and Elena obviously still pissed at Damon for good reason.
Oh, yeah.
And she and Stefan come out and, put her bags in the car or whatever, and they start making out, basically, in front of Damon just to send a little message.
Yeah, which I really have I don't even have that much to say, but I have a lot to think about this scene.
Yeah.
Is that, like, it's just so odd, the way that she does it, like... Damon's kind of giving Stefan quips about, oh, I'll take care of Elena. Yeah. And so then Elena, like, very intentionally pulls Stefan in to kiss him while staring at Damon.
Yeah.
And it's, like, this very, like, snarky thing that I'm like, I don't know how I feel about that. It's, like, very, like, I don't know. It's like she's trying to, like, really hurt him about the fact that she's with Stefan. And I'm like, the vibes between those two are off. This whole episode and the next one, their vibes are weird. It feels unlike Elena to be so, I don't want to say cruel necessarily, because in a way it's deserved.
It's definitely deserved, but that doesn't make it not cruel and hurtful.
That's true. Hurtful is, I think, a better word. Cruel is like kind of intense. Hurtful, I think, is the right thing to say. It's unlike Elena to do something that is intentionally hurtful.
Yes.
Even if he deserves it, it's unlike Elena. So we'll talk more about the vibes between those two later.
Yes.
For now, at the Lockwood house, Tyler, of course, is also on this investigative journey over what's going on with Mason and all of this werewolf stuff. And so he asks Carol about the cellar that he found, which he explains it was the old house that burnt down and the cellar is still there. And he still is like, but what is that? Like, what was that room used for? And she's like, well, honey, this is the South. We don't talk about those rooms anymore. We don't like to reminisce on the old slave days. To the point. Very Carol.
I was going to say, first of all, so Carol, so to the point.
Yeah.
Also, just the way she talks about it, she's just so Carol.
So Carol.
Second, I know that obviously the Vampire Diaries is set in the South, and maybe in a way it's better to just come right out and say something like that.
I know. It is a weird line where it's like, it's nice in a way that they're like realistic about like, this is our past, but also it's just like, did it need to be said?
Yeah, it's just weird. It's also, I don't know. It's so odd. I have more to say about it later, so I won't get too much into it, but weird.
But yes, for now, that kind of just leads no answers. It's like, okay, Tyler, that gave you nothing. That doesn't explain why Mason was there. It doesn't explain, like, might be the chains, unfortunately, but doesn't explain the scratches. So
no, definitely not.
Yeah, so that didn't really give him anything. Speaking of giving nothing, at the grill, Bonnie and Stefan are meeting to talk about giving Caroline a daylight ring, and Bonnie is so resistant. She is like
a little biatch.
She is. Again, if you're a Bonnie hater, these are the stretch of episodes to really justify that.
Beginning of season 2.
Yeah, it's rough for Bonnie. She does not. She says, like, I don't want to give her the power to hurt anybody. Like, I don't trust her like that. She says, like, I don't trust her with this.
Yeah.
And so, you know, Stefan says, like, it's not about giving her the power to hurt anybody. It's giving her the power to have a normal life, to connect with her humanity. Like, if she's just isolated inside in the dark.
Yeah, she's just stuck inside. Can't even open her window to enjoy the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what Bonnie is thinking here. And I think, and even then, after he says, you know, Caroline needs to be connected to her humanity, Bonnie is still kind of hesitant until Stefan basically says, if we're not going to give her the daylight ring, we should just stake her now.
Yeah.
Which I think that is sort of gets Bonnie more on board, but
even that, I don't feel like convinces Bonnie. I think the only thing that finally convinces Bonnie, which I think is really weird, is Bonnie says she can't trust Caroline with this. Wild. Okay. And Stefan says, trust me with this. And then we cut away to her making the ring, which it's like, okay, so I guess Bonnie does trust Stefan but doesn't trust Caroline?
So weird. I mean, I guess she did see Stefan kind of lead Caroline away and take care of her and help her out. But isn't Bonnie aware of the fact that he was also just on his Ripper binge, like, within the show,
he didn't
like a
kill
couple weeks
anybody,
ago?
Though, but he didn't kill anybody.
I guess.
I think Bonnie is being very, very black and white about this situation.
Okay, yes.
I think that, like, for her, there's no gray, there's no, like, learning curve, there's no nothing. It's just have you or haven't you killed. And that's why, like, Damon and Caroline, she can't stand them because they've killed somebody. And Stefan, to her knowledge, hasn't. Little does she know.
I was going to say, I guess Bonnie's kind of in the dark about...
Oh, like, Bonnie's so in the dark. She's fooling herself about this whole thing.
She's definitely lying to herself.
Yeah, we're going to have a lot more to say about Bonnie later, I think, as this kind of progresses. Because she just really, for the most part, wants no part of it. Like, she just doesn't... I don't know. It's interesting.
Very odd.
Speaking of wanting no part of somebody, the segues are built in here themselves.
Yeah.
The car ride to Duke is going on. Alaric, Damon, and Elena. Alaric is truly present for so many major Delena moments. It's just him, and it's really crazy, and I'm obsessed with it.
Yeah, I know. I love Alaric is always there. Alaric's just driving, Damon in the front seat, Elena in the back. Mm-hmm. And, you know, they're obviously... You can tell it's been an awkward... Yeah, there's so much tension. It's been an awkward car ride. And Damon just asks Elena, like, when are you going to stop pretending you hate me? And
Alaric is like, she's not pretending you killed her brother.
Alaric is like, you literally killed her brother like a day ago.
Yeah.
And, Alaric obviously just trying to run a little bit of interference. And Elena's like, yeah, no. Basically, she's like, I hate you. Yeah.
Yeah. And Damon claims in this scene that he saw Jeremy's ring. He's like, it's a big, tacky, hard to miss thing.
Yeah.
Like, I saw it. And Elena says, you're lying.
Yeah.
And is just like pissed at him about it. But yeah, he claims he's trying to make good.
He's definitely trying to make good. Also, this is definitely
by lying.
Yeah, by lying. This is also definitely the scene I was thinking of.
Yes.
Where I was like, he lies about it in his cagey.
Yeah.
But I did forget a later scene that we'll talk about. So
yeah, we'll get there.
I will accept my women's wrongs that I made.
Women's wrongs. Take the L on that one. You took it hard on this one. But yes.
But anyway, yeah.
Anyway, for now he's claiming he saw the ring. He saw the ring. And Elena knows he's lying.
That's pretty much the gist, yeah.
Then in Caroline, so of course Stefan's, thing to Bonnie worked, and Bonnie has showed up to make a daylight ring for Caroline, who is not happy that she didn't get to choose the ring that she has to wear for the rest of her life.
Yeah.
Relatable. Same girl. I would be pissed.
Yeah, relatable, but also, I am pretty sure they've already said at this point, it needs to be specifically lapis lazuli.
Yeah.
Where are they getting these rings? Like, the fact that
does
it's
Bonnie have the connection to get it? I would imagine Stefan would have to get it.
I guess.
And he didn't let her choose?
But he can't compel.
Yeah, that's true.
So where's he just...
You could probably just buy it.
I guess he could just buy it, yeah. I guess I was forgetting that
you can buy it.
Operate
Stefan has access to money.
That's true.
This isn't a bartering system.
I guess I'm just thinking if I was a vampire, I'd be compelling literally everything. I'd be like, I just want to be a little manipulator, but...
Yeah, but I feel like you've been around long enough. You built up some cash one way or another.
That's true. And maybe even a ring.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay.
Also, who knows? Sad, but maybe Stefan got one at one point for Lexi, held on to it, and then couldn't get a witch to spell it. And then ended up with Caroline. Yeah, that's sad. But
I like
multiple
that
reasons.
Potential, it was supposed to be Lexi's, now it's Caroline's.
Yeah, that would be a nice little line up there. Yeah. And I feel like that might make sense, too, as to why, Caroline doesn't get to choose, because maybe they are hard to get, and Stefan happened to have one at the ready, but, needed to spell it. And so, of course, Bonnie does spell it in this. But before she does, she is threatening Caroline up and down, if you hurt anyone, I will de-spell this ring. The witch that spells it has the power to de-spell it, and I will take you out, like she said to Damon.
Bonnie's a little power hungry these days.
She is.
She's a little her, we were talking about in the last episode where she's she's bringing Damon to his knees for kind of no reason. I mean, plot-wise, we needed to see it first.
Yeah.
But
story-wise, there's no reason.
She's on a little power trip.
Yeah, she definitely is. She's just mad. She's just, she's giving Olivia Rodrigo type teenage rage. She's giving hell as a teenage girl.
Yeah.
And she's just lashing out. That's Bonnie right now.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's fair, but...
It's fair, but Caroline's also the same thing for more justified reasons.
Yeah, she died.
Yeah, she literally
a lot of people are forgetting she died.
Oh, yeah, and then she also went through a traumatic car crash directly before that, so we'll get to that in some later bits. But for now, Bonnie does make the ring, actually. And it, is kind of like we talked about in the first season when they actually do magic, it doesn't look like much, which Caroline calls out, that, did it even work? And Caroline puts the ring on, and Bonnie just whips open the curtain. Bonnie to Stefan was saying that she didn't even know if she could do it. She'd never done it before.
Well, to be fair, I think Bonnie was kind of lying.
She was definitely lying then, that she knew she could probably do it. But she hasn't done it. What if it didn't work?
Yeah, she has no clue. She's willing to run the risk, I guess.
Again, power hungry. She was just like, yeah, I'm awesome. It'll work.
Yeah.
Which she is awesome, but girl.
Yeah.
Play it cooler than this.
Yeah, Bonnie, you gotta be chill.
Yeah.
But yeah, she whips open the curtain. Caroline is like, Bonnie!
Yeah.
Basically what we just said. What if it hadn't worked? And Bonnie says to Stefan, she's yours to deal with now. Which, first of all, Bonnie, chill.
Yeah,
chill. She's your friend. Anyway, but this is such a random aside, but I had to bring it up because... I noticed as Bonnie's leaving this scene, she's wearing a sundress. What time of year is it?
I didn't notice
I just was so confused. I thought it was supposed to be February.
They're also at the swimming hole this whole episode. They're all
oh yeah. Yeah, duh. I forgot that even bigger. I guess it's Virginia, so it's not freezing.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
There must be somewhere we can find when Founders Day is. You'd think they would have had it on all those banners and stuff. And we're only like 3-4 days off of Founders Day at this point.
Yeah, I really thought it was supposed to be like winter.
Which it's Georgia, so it's hot most of the year. But you would think we're like maybe more spring than like winter. But I don't know. This show's one of those that plays with like seasons like that where it's just like... It's always summer. It's very rarely ever winter.
Except that one episode where Anna and Damon were.
Oh, yeah, where it's clearly winter. So clearly they filmed in winter.
Yeah. Anyway, it was just a little thing. I was like,
yeah.
They got her in a sundress. But yeah,
good
point about the swimming hole also.
Yeah, they haven't decided. Weird. I don't know. Well, we'll have to find out at some point what day Founders Day actually is so we can give a rough estimate as to when this might be. Yeah. No clue, though. So... Whatever. Bonnie's done with Caroline. She's leaving him to Stefan. And we cut back to the trio pulling up to Duke. Mm-hmm. They get to Isobel's office. Alaric starts to explain that Isobel's like office is in the anthropology department because technically what she studied was like folklore, which I was like, missed opportunity. I had so many potentials for my undergrad degree. I'm like, why didn't I do folklore? That would have been awesome. Amazing. Yeah. Could have been a little Isobel. Love it.
Better or worse, I guess. But yeah, they get to her office. They go in. They meet Vanessa, I think is her
Vanessa,
name.
The research assistant.
Yeah, Isobel's research assistant. And she asks about Isobel a little bit. And
gives a very heavy look at Elena before leading them into the office and disappearing.
Yes, she leads them in. She kind of disappears for a second while they look around. And she comes back with her huge crossbow.
Yeah, classic. Everyone's got one.
Sick, yeah. And she tries to shoot Elena. Mm-hmm. And she does shoot Elena. But Damon saves the day, steps in front of the arrow, like, right at the last second.
Yeah, human shield. Yeah. He takes the arrow directly in the back. And, like, they have to be, like, face-to-face as he gets hit with the arrow. Course. And literally saves her life. That absolutely would have killed her.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
So, good thing Damon did come. This woman is psychotic for being like, wild. I saw a woman that looks exactly like Katherine Pierce who died 100 whatever years ago, so I'm gonna shoot her. Yeah. Like, why would you escalate to that?
Like, girl, don't you know how genes work? She could still look like her. Like,
yeah. Like, I know it's exact, but you've only seen a photo from the 1800s.
Exactly. Well, yeah, that's what I was gonna get at. It is exact, obviously. And obviously the photo is exact.
Yeah.
But... I just feel like it's a risk. It's a risk.
Yeah, she went all in, didn't hesitate. She was like, I'm just going for this. Didn't try to test with Vervain. Didn't try to see if Elena was wearing a daylight ring. Nope. Used none of the things that she's potentially learned about vampires to see if any of those theories could be true. She just went straight with the crossbow.
Yeah, no.
Wild.
Also, I guess she has no reason to, like, necessarily trust Alaric besides the fact that he was married to Isobel.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like the fact that she rolled up with Alaric should give her a little bit of, like, pause. Oh, like, that would be weird. Why would Katherine be hanging out with Alaric?
Also, imagine if that was actually Katherine. She would have caught the arrow. They would have snapped this girl's neck.
Little neck. Yeah.
And then just done what they needed to do and left. Like, this girl, like, had no idea what she was rushing into here. Like a little Jeremy Gilbert.
Yeah, no clue. She has no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, Damon obviously upset that he's taking this. Yeah, that he's taking this arrow.
Yeah.
So Elena's trying to like pull it from his back. Mm-hmm. She finally gets it out after a little bit of hesitation because that would be wild trying to pull this out of someone.
Ugh, yeah.
Yeah. Elena's always in these situations where she's gotta like basically do practically surgery. Like she's pulling things out of people. And Damon's like, this bitch is dead.
Yeah.
Which, exactly what you were saying. If it were Katherine, she'd already be dead.
Yeah.
But Elena, of course, good-hearted Elena is like, don't kill her.
No, she doesn't even say don't kill her. She's like, if you kill her, I'll never speak to you again.
Yeah, that's true.
Which, again, and this is like the earlier scene with the Stefan kiss where it's like, Elena knows that she is this like emotional component for Damon and she is willing to wield herself as this like weapon to like hurt or to punish or to control him. It's so interesting. Like, she didn't do this at all in the first season. So it's just like the situation these two are in, the games that they're playing, and they will continue to play this episode are very, very interesting.
Yeah, a lot going on here. I'll save more of what I have to say till the end. But yeah, Elena not being herself.
Yeah, Damon though still flirting. He's just flirting. He's using this as an opportunity to be like cutesy about it.
Yep.
And so then they do. eventually go back to looking at research.
Yes.
And Elena explains to Vanessa, who they are, that they're really just there to look at the research related to Mystic Falls. Mm-hmm. She's not a vampire. She's not Katherine. They're good. She's going to let them look at the research. And then later, as they're looking at research, Vanessa gives Elena all the research that's specifically related to Katherine.
Yes.
And Elena gives Vanessa some of the vervain that's in one of the boxes and, tells her that actually works. And, they talk about Damon and what his capabilities are. And then he hears them across the room and claims he can read her mind. But obviously Elena tells her, he can't do that. Yeah. So it's kind of like they get to a good place with that. And they're just kind of looking at research, vibing at school,
hanging out, back to school. Yeah,
those vibes. Meanwhile, speaking of back to school, actually, again, the segues are running themselves.
Yes,
Stefan is teaching Caroline how to hunt and kill and feed off of a rabbit in the woods. Yeah, which stresses her out. As I would be like, this is too much to be having to hunt down and kill a rabbit right now.
I just don't even know how you'd go about it.
Which also, again, like Caroline is just stressed because she's like, this is too much. I can't deal with hunting a bunny. Also, like Matt's mad at me because I haven't been able to talk to him. I haven't been out in the sun. And she says in 3 days, which is why at the start I was like, maybe it's been like 3 days. But also maybe she's exaggerating. She might be counting yesterday, the carnival day. She couldn't go out all day. And then today.
Guess that's true.
And then maybe she's just rounding up a day. I don't really know.
Either
way, she's at least been turned a couple days. So she hasn't been outside. She's freaking out. Stefan just starts laughing at her, which I love.
I know. I do love.
And he explains, that when someone becomes a vampire, parts of their human personality get amplified. Like, for example, he was a very empathetic human, deeply cared about people. And as a vampire, that magnified, which I think is so funny that Stefan's like, me, my humanity, my love of people, how much I deeply care about how other people feel got magnified. Not any of his other like things that happened. He's
know. I love that. I just think it's so funny. He's like, oh yeah, I was very empathetic. Like,
yeah.
Oh, little me.
Yeah, I just care so much about people, and now I care even more. You, on the other hand. And Caroline says, she goes, you're saying now I'm basically a neurotic, insecure control freak on crack. Yeah. That's Caroline's takeaway. And he's like, I'm not saying that, but...
I'm not saying that, basically.
That's basically. So, yeah, again, just funny that Stefan's like...
Yep.
Yeah, I was, like, so kind and caring, and now I'm even more so. And you... Control freak.
Yeah, insane. He's giving a little Matt here, but funnier, and it comes off very better.
Sweet. Again, we talked about it in the last one, and this one is really the start of like their friendship really like becoming an actual friendship that has nothing to do with even necessarily her being a vampire or like him having to kind of train her in that. It's like they're kind of starting to just become like playful with each other in like a very friendly, platonic way.
Yeah.
So he agrees that they will do this hunting thing, she'll feed, and then they can go to the swim hole and see Matt because she really needs to like connect with her humanity and that Matt is actually like good for her to feel more human and more normal. So she's excited, so she's gonna embrace the bunny thing.
Yep.
So that they can go do that.
Yep.
And Matt is already at the swim hole talking to Tyler about Caroline. Again, Matt's just on his thing. He's like, oh yeah, we're fine. Well, I'm fine. Caroline, I don't know about.
Yeah. Wait, but just going back really quickly for a second, Tyler approaches Matt by saying, is it just me or did Amy Bradley's ass get hot?
I forgot about that. Tyler's giving frat boy in this episode.
When I watched, I had to pause because I burst out laughing. I was afraid I was going to miss something. What?
Oh my god!
I know. So weird.
Yeah, Tyler is just
the worst. He's
being a boy. He's being a horny little boy. In this
he really is. He's so.
We'll talk about the things that happen later because I have thoughts.
Yeah, he's got that dog in him, quite literally.
Yeah, that wolf. If we're gonna be more literal.
So weird.
But anyway, so they talk about Caroline and just who knows what she's up to. And then Mason shows up to talk to Tyler, and he just, like, reiterates, when it gets dark.
Wait, going back really quickly, I just burst out laughing because I also remembered Tyler's outfit. He's wearing the longest t-shirt in the world and also the longest shorts in the world.
I do not remember that.
Scene. It just looks so weird. They do, like, a zoom out where he just looks long. It's weird.
So funny. I didn't see that.
Sorry, I had to get that out.
The costumer was trying something different. I wonder if they changed costumers this episode because I know they had different ones from, like, in the early seasons. Yeah. So maybe it's somebody new and they're trying
let an intern take a crack at They were like, go for it.
Although that's how Tyler would really dress if he's a real boy.
No, I know. It was really accurate. They were like, you're a teenager. You get it.
They're going for accuracy this episode, not style.
Yeah, no, definitely not. But anyway, sorry.
Anyway, Mason shows up. So Mason shows up and he reiterates to Tyler, like Carol had said earlier, like, make sure when it gets dark, like, you get out of here. Because Carol had said, if anyone gets injured on the property, we're liable. And I don't want that. So get him out of here. And Mason does say, like, you know, because Tyler's like, oh, you're trying to kill the buzz. And Mason's like, no, like, I don't want somebody to end up wasted and dead at the bottom of the lake. So get out of here, like, when it gets dark.
Yeah.
Which is fair.
Yeah, he does have a good point.
Just dramatic way to put it.
Yeah.
And so, you know, he's basically just reiterating, like, you don't even have to stop the party. Just get away from the lake. Like, get out of here.
Yeah. Which it occurred to me after rewatching this episode, maybe he's also, you know, Tyler has no clue, but maybe he's also trying to save Tyler from triggering the curse.
That could be true.
I assume if someone died in the lake, like, it would be...
Depends how involved Tyler is, I think. Because the rules are funny, you know? It's like... I don't know if he gave the person alcohol, if Tyler would be held accountable. I don't think so. If Tyler pushed them into the water, probably.
Yeah.
So I don't know. The rules are funny. But I think that is true to some extent because Mason has definitely been watching out for Tyler in that way of like the carnival workers one especially, like stepping in situations where it could allow for Tyler. Because also, I think we have heard in a lot of the wolves we know when they turned, it was like almost always at like a party and drinking was involved. And like, it's almost always that.
Yeah. So, and it can be really indirect. I feel like we see things later on in originals and stuff that it's like, you don't have to be like literally like
you don't have to slit their throat.
Yeah, it can be a little indirect. So maybe Mason's just looking out. But either way, he has a good point. You don't want someone to die in this lake. But.
And the larger point, of course, is that Mason, it is a full moon. Mason's going to turn tonight. And he can't have all these people hanging around. One, he's a wolf and needs to be in hiding. And two, he could be the one that kills them.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things going on there. But as Mason leaves, Caroline and Stefan have arrived. And Stefan is giving Mason a look. And Caroline calls him out. She's like, you're giving your serious vampire look, which isn't much different than your It's Tuesday look, but you know, and it's funny again. They're being playful, they're being friendly. She's calling him out. They're joking. It's nice.
Yeah, they definitely have a very solid, good friendship at this point, which I love.
Yeah, it definitely feels like why she's becoming the kind of new Lexi to him of like she calls out that he's like a little brooding, like dramatic boy and needs to have some fun and like he needs that in his life.
Yeah, he definitely needs that. Caroline then, after having this little banter with Stefan, she goes over to Matt, who's talking with Amy Bradley.
Yeah. Amy.
Yeah, who Tyler and Matt were just talking about. And, you know, Amy isn't being that flirtatious. Like, it is flirting because we find out
on him. Yeah.
We find out she likes him, but let's put it this way. She's not really doing anything crazy.
She's talking to a boy at a party who has a girlfriend. That's kind of just what's going on.
Which is all Caroline needs to come over and be immediately jealous.
Yeah.
Not very nice.
Yeah.
She compels Amy to go find someone single that she can hit on.
Yeah.
Which, funny, that comes back. But yeah, and Matt obviously calls her out. He's like, this, not cool. Don't do that. Which, not great.
Yeah. But it just, again, is like, you know, Matt is justified in that Caroline was being extra. But again, she almost died in a car crash like a week ago. And Matt's just like, you're being so weird and agitated.
Yeah.
Like, what's wrong with you? It's like, she almost died a few days ago. It is not that weird for her to be agitated and like more, I don't know, like stressed out and like...
Yeah.
Not necessarily jealous, but like, I don't know, if you almost died a few weeks ago and you were acting like agitated, I'd be like, fair. Like, that's a stressful situation. I'm sure you're going through a lot right now. Like,
that's true. That's true.
Matt's just like, I thought we were over this. Like, I thought we were past the insecure phase.
Yeah, that is true.
Okay, Matt. Leave her alone.
I see both sides of this a little bit.
Okay, a little bit.
But
I feel like Matt needs to be 1,000 times more forgiving than he is.
Yeah.
Because even Stefan comes over and he's like, you know, he does say, like, that was not cool. You shouldn't play with human life like that. But, like, even Stefan, I do feel like, is being forgiving and understanding. Which, of course, he knows the vampire side of it, too, not just the car crash side of it. But still, like, you know, Stefan is like, don't do that. That's not good.
Yeah.
But he, for the most part, is just like, whatever. So yeah, they're just like
weird place. Matt, Caroline, weird spot. Yeah.
Weird spot. But Caroline and Stefan bonding. That's kind of where they're at. Perfect, friendly, platonic, cute little
Yeah,
moment.
good friendship.
And he's laughing at her again in the scene because she's freaking out even further about Amy because she's like, like I compelled her because she's the worst, and she's and Stefan just crosses his arms, and the way he laughs is so cute.
I know. I will say this is a good Stefan episode.
This is a really good Stefan episode.
Yeah, a lot of his early, especially friendship with Caroline, is very very good.
I think season 2 overall is actually really pretty good for Stefan.
Definitely.
We'll see if we maintain that as the season goes, but I do think at least these parts.
Yeah, if I'm remembering things right.
Yeah, I really like Stefan in this stuff. Meanwhile, people I'm not loving as much this episode, the Duke thing. I always think I like the Duke stuff, and then when I watch it, I don't actually like it because they're just not getting along. Like the vibes are not right.
Yes.
And it's not even that they're not getting along because even like 1 and 2 I like better, where like she hates him.
Yeah.
But like Damon and Elena at this part are just in this very weird, snarky, using each other phase.
Yeah.
And they do find out a lot of information. In this kind of cutaway to Duke, we see they have found out about the legend of the werewolves. They're looking more into werewolves. And Vanessa tells them that she's found this Aztec curse. Shaman put a curse. I could like recite this because it's been in all the like previously on so many times. Yeah. But an Aztec shaman put a curse on somebody that created this curse known as the curse of the sun and the moon, so that vampires could only walk at night and werewolves were a slave to the moon.
Yep.
I'm so excited that we're finally here. This is like unlocking a piece of the story that just is going to be so amazing. That's leading to a road that's so exciting.
I know. I was on such a high after watching this episode because I was like, I gotta keep watching. Yeah. Like, I'm not recording an episode of the pod today. I gotta watch. I have other things to do.
I know, because it's like the Curse of the Sun and the Moon feels like probably one of the best storylines in Vampire Diaries, I will say. Like, of course, where it ends and turns into something else, that storyline is also really good.
Yeah.
But the Curse of the Sun and the Moon, it's such good build-up. And, like, really the payoff of it actually not having any payoff is so good. And, it's just great. And so they're introducing that here, and they're, like, giving all this lore. They're also saying all this stuff about what the werewolf lore is, which is that they change unwillingly under the full moon. Vanessa says, I think very acutely, that like it's a curse. It's a curse, so it's not like some advantage. It's a curse. They have to change at the full moon. Yep. There probably aren't that many werewolves left, which is why Damon's not seen one in 160 years, because at some point, I don't know if she gives a year, but she says that vampires, it was written at some point that vampires hunted down werewolves and killed them.
Yeah, because there's been a species rivalry for forever. And now
which
werewolves
is, of course,
are
something we hear about for so many years.
Gotta watch the originals if you haven't already.
Yeah, that's built out a lot more in the originals. But so at some point, they're basically, the werewolves are nearly extinct because of the vampires who hunted them down. So that's why Damon's not seen one. And importantly, werewolves are attracted to hunt vampires. That's their natural prey.
They've literally like evolved, is what Vanessa says, basically.
To specifically hunt vampires. And that their bite is rumored to be fatal to a vampire. If they can bite a vampire, they'll die.
Yes. Very important.
Very important, which Elena immediately realizes, and I think, is filing these things away. It's like, need to tell Stefan as soon as possible, because that might be important for him to know.
Yeah, which she pretty much immediately gets on the phone, calls Stefan. We cut to Stefan's perspective, see him picking up the phone, and sort of cut away while he talks to Elena. And Matt and Caroline are just talking, and basically
the sun has gone down.
Yes, the sun is setting.
Late.
Yes.
And I think at this point, Stefan had only just kind of told Caroline, just like, go apologize to Matt right before we leave. Like, they were definitely on their way out, and he was like, go say, it's fine, make good, and then we'll go. Yeah. But, of course, he gets this call from Elena telling him all of this stuff that she's learned. And especially, most importantly, that, like, it is rumored that a werewolf bite will kill a vampire. So, might need to know that, since it is a full moon tonight. And you're in the woods. And so, Stefan, of course, immediately realizes that and looks over, and they're gone.
They're gone. Yeah, they've gone off somewhere.
Yeah, which Matt, he had been talking to Caroline, and they took him a while, but they, of course, do make good. He was all, I thought we were over the insecurity stuff, and I'm not going to put up with any more drama. He's like, okay, Matt. But they do get good, and then
she promises no more drama.
Yeah, of course, no more drama. So they kiss, and they sneak away to go make out, which is, of course, right when Stefan goes to look for them, and they're gone.
Yep.
And so, he realizes Caroline is missing in the middle of the night of a full moon when he's just learned that a werewolf bite probably is going to kill a vampire. Yep. So not a good situation to be in.
And he had just seen Mason earlier.
Oh, yeah. He knows Mason
Scientist
is right
Stefan,
around.
putting the pieces together.
Scientist Stefan always knows, and he knows this is not looking good.
Nope.
Meanwhile, we do actually cut away, seeing in the cellar, where, of course, they had been scoping out earlier, Mason is chaining himself to the walls. He's using that stuff that was, built into the walls. He's chaining himself up. He is sweating. He's, really, heavily breathing, trying to control his breathing. Yep. He's mixing some herbs into water, shaking it up.
We don't know what it is yet, but we see him making this, drink for him to have.
He's definitely got, a whole routine. He's prepping. Clearly, things are happening. Yeah. Just about ready. Clearly this is about to go down. He's going to turn into a wolf.
Yep.
When he hears Tyler and Amy coming down into the cellar, and he obviously realizes he needs to move, and he leaves before they get there so that he can go find somewhere else to change, because of course if he changes into a wolf while Tyler's there, one, blows the secret, two, could kill Tyler and Amy.
Yep.
So he runs. But first of all, let's
go back.
Let's dial back.
Yep.
Tyler is bringing Amy here to hook up. Why does Tyler think?
First of all, men are sick. Not only is he bringing, just in general, the idea that you would bring someone to a cellar where you think you used to hold slaves.
Did I even think his mother told him?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
His mother told him a few hours ago.
Yeah.
This was a place where slaves were kept. This is a place where our ancestral home, our family kept slaves. Tyler was like, makeout spot?
Oh, I bet I could get it on down there. But even more sick than that, the writers of the show have some answering to do. Amy's black.
Yeah, that's true.
That is sick.
Yeah, that's a whole other layer there.
We don't need to do a call out right now, but there's some questionable things in the show. There's some questionable things. That is up there for me.
The other thing I thought you were going to say that was questionable here is Tyler, I think, lied to her and said other people were going to join them.
Oh,
and
that's also sick.
Yeah, she's like, where is everybody else? And he's just like, they're coming. Don't worry, they're coming.
We'll find them. Yeah,
it's so shady.
Bad.
So Mason, of course, has to get away, and he just gets to his truck, and he just goes into his truck and starts turning into a wolf there. Clearly he doesn't have time. He scoped out that spot, the cellar. I don't think he had a backup, so he just has to change in his truck. Cut away to Duke. Yep. Leave that chaos for now. Elena finds a photo of Katherine, and she asks Vanessa what she knows about doppelgangers. And Vanessa says the only thing that she really knows about doppelgangers is that they're rumored to torment the people who look like them, to pull apart their lives, to torture them. Elena's like, we already knew that.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah. Basically insinuating also that other than the werewolf stuff, everything that they've tried to find out about Katherine has been a bust. They have not figured out anything. Yeah, they're not
figuring out anything. They don't know why Elena looks like Katherine. Yeah. They're not really getting any clues. Damon, on the other hand, clearly knows something and is not admitting to something he knows that's going to help Elena find out more about Katherine. And she calls him out on that. Mm. And he's just like, I'm not going to tell you with that attitude.
Yeah.
Again, the vibes between them is just sour.
Weird, bad. Yeah, don't
vibes.
Love it.
But I love the close-up of Alaric, who's just listening to this whole conversation. It's gold. He's just kind of
he's like, I still gotta drive home with them.
Yeah, I'm stuck with these two forever. So Damon and Elena are just being toxic, especially this episode, more so than usual. Constantly bickering about being friends and manipulating each other, and friends don't manipulate their friends, and they're having all these scenes about how they should be treating each other and how to help each other, but really they're both just trying to get whatever they want from the other.
Yeah.
Vibes are bad.
Terrible.
Bad vibes, Lockwood party. So Amy and Tyler are now making out in the cellar. When she stops him, saying that she likes Matt, she doesn't know why she's doing this, and she leaves. Which I didn't actually even realize why until you said now that that's because Caroline compelled her to find somebody single. I was like, was Katherine already compelling Amy? Because we know later Katherine is compelling Amy as one of her spies. So I was like, did she compel Amy to stick around Tyler to keep an eye on him?
Yeah.
But no, it was literally just from Caroline.
Yeah, Caroline was just go find someone single. Yeah. And she even asked Tyler together. At one point. She's like, are you single?
Oh my God. Yeah. I did not put that together.
Yeah, it's very subtle. I definitely didn't get it the first few times I watched it. I was
I've never put that together the thousands of times I've watched that. I don't know why. I always thought it was maybe just
Catherine's already there, yeah.
That could be why Amy's at the party.
You never know, yeah.
You really, truly never know with Catherine.
I wouldn't even be surprised if she was already thinking of Amy.
Yeah, she probably is already compelling her, like, keep an eye on Tyler. Like, I don't know.
Stay close.
It's very Catherine. So that's why I just didn't even think about what Caroline said. But anyway, so Amy leaves, and now Tyler's just left out in the woods in this situation. Yeah. And Stefan is looking for Caroline, of course, and he does hear growling noises, which leads him to Mason's car, which he just starts, like, looking into. He's found out that if you find a werewolf, it could bite you and kill you. Yeah. And he's like, growling noises? Like, what's in there?
Classic still being an investigator.
Yeah, scientist Stefan.
His life is worth less than just figuring out if Mason is the werewolf, I guess.
Yeah, that's so true. He just wants to know at this point.
Yeah.
Which, of course, Mason the wolf is in that truck, and he jumps out at Stefan, breaking the glass. But he does just, like, move past Stefan. He knocks him over and then just runs away. Yeah. Luckily, he doesn't bite him or do anything else, but... Yeah, it's just interesting that Stefan's just like, a wolf's in there? Like, let me check this out. Scientist Stefan.
Yeah.
And then back to Duke.
Yeah, cut back to Duke.
Alaric and Vanessa are chatting about Isobel, and this is kind of a long scene, but all in all, there's not really much that happens there. The point of it really is it's closing the door for good on Isobel for Alaric. I feel like I think the point of it was really just to be like, she compelled him to move on, so we kind of already knew that door was closed, but this is a very official moment of like, he's done. The door is closed. This was like the exact closure he really needed to be like, moved on. Yeah. His like, that phase of his life is over. He can do whatever he wants now.
Yeah. It's also, I think, sort of serves the purpose for something that happens later.
Yes.
I also feel like it's a little bit of a flirtatious conversation.
Yeah, Vanessa's definitely interested.
Yeah, she's definitely interested. But Alaric pretty much shuts it down, tells her not to let what happened to Isobel happen to her. Yeah. And he's, like you said, he moves on from Duke, Isobel, that life, and also, like, Vanessa. Like, she's not going to be in his life, really.
Yeah. Even though she's, like, interesting and flirty, it's like, I've already got somebody at home.
I'm good.
We'll come back to that. Yeah. Meanwhile, we've got Damon and Elena.
Of course.
So they're at the car, and Damon meets Elena at the car, and he gives her a book that is labeled Petrova. Yes. Which Elena's like, what? I saw this on the shelf. Like, why are you giving this to me? And Damon reveals that he learned that Catherine's real name is not Catherine Pierce. It is Katerina Petrova, which he saw on jewelry or something. Yeah. Because he was snooping. Because men snoop too.
Yeah, he said men also snoop. Yeah, men snoop
I love that.
Too. I thought that was fun.
And it's definitely a gesture that he got that book for her. Yeah. And of course he was being shady all day and withholding information. But at the end of the day, he did make sure that she got the thing that she needed. And he does say, like, he hopes that she can forgive him, that they were friends in the first place, and, she didn't like him after. Like, she didn't like him, and then they still became friends, so she's hoping that can happen again. Yeah. But I can't help but notice he does not apologize.
He does not.
He never says, like, explicitly, I'm sorry for killing Jeremy. Like, it's all just like you forgave me once, you can forgive me again, and we can move past this, right? And, like, you're not going to hate me forever, right? Like, that's the vibe of this combo. So, again, this kind of plays into also this idea of, like, I just don't love this at all.
I know.
As a Delena episode. It's not a good Delena episode. You kind of think it would be because it's, like, a day trip for them. Yep. It's very Delena scene heavy, but, like, all in all, the scenes are not good scenes. They're, like, bad scenes for them as, like a couple, as a pairing.
Yeah, no, they don't really... I mean, we'll get more to this in the end, but they don't really get anything. They don't come closer together after the book gesture. I mean, Damon's definitely trying, and he does ask Elena. He's like, "Does this mean I've lost you forever?" Yeah. And she just sort of thanks him for the book.
Yeah, she just thanks for the book and gets in the car.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a snub. We'll get back to that question later. Back to the swim hole. Yes. This is where things are going down. Yep. Caroline and Matt have apparently been looking for a makeout spot this entire time because they've finally found one.
Which is just them standing in the middle of the woods.
Yeah, just a tree. They just chose a random tree.
Just in the middle of nowhere.
Everyone had left this party anyway. Yeah. They could have just made out right there. Yeah, Stefan's 5 feet away, but like, whatever. Like,
tell him to go away. Like,
so I don't know why they spent this whole time looking for the best makeout spot because they just end up at a tree, which Matt immediately cuts himself on. He like leans up against it. His arm is gushing blood. And so, of course, Caroline, newbie vamp, cannot resist this, and she bites his wrist where he's cut, and then she goes for the neck, because, like, once it started, she's, like, feeding. She goes for it. Luckily, Stefan finds Caroline just in time before she really, like, kills Matt, and he pulls her off of Matt. But unfortunately for poor Matt, they have lured in Mason. Wolf Mason is, like, right there, and they realize, like, Stefan and Caroline need to run to try to get Mason to chase them so that Matt can just be left there and not be prey, because there's no way to get Matt out of the situation, but of course Mason will follow the vampires.
Yeah, and they have the edge, so it's okay if Mason follows.
Yeah, but
Caroline
poor Matt just left bleeding on the ground.
Bleeding out.
So they do run away, and Caroline doesn't even know what's going on. I don't know if she even really knows about this wolf stuff necessarily. Like, I don't know if they've even explained much of any of this to her.
No, I don't think she knows anything about it, but while they're running, they've stopped for a second.
Yeah, because she's like, what is going on? Yeah. Why are we running? What are we even running from?
Yeah.
And he says, like, a werewolf is chasing us.
Classic.
Of course. And then, just as they stop, Tyler comes out of the cellar. They've stopped just in front of it. And Tyler comes out and asks what's going on. And Stefan looks really suspicious at Tyler for a second, because, of course, Tyler could also be a wolf right now. Who knows?
Yeah.
They don't have a clue. And then just as they, like, look at Tyler suspiciously, Mason the wolf jumps out of the woods and tackles Caroline and is right over her. Could very easily have bitten and killed her right then and there.
Yep.
But just before she does, Tyler, who is standing there witnessing all of this, yells no.
Yeah.
Which distracts Mason. He looks at Tyler for a while, and then he just runs away.
Yeah. Interesting.
Tyler saved Caroline's life with that one unknowingly.
Yeah, and also, well, now knowingly, Tyler, like, definitely knows. I mean, if
he
he
knew
responded to the no.
Yeah. And he knew it was Mason, I think. It's like the eyes, the same eyes that Mason had with the golden.
And also, obviously, they've been building this up for so long. It's like, if Tyler didn't know by now.
Secret. Yeah, he's a goner. But anyway, so Caroline and Stefan, they do go back for Matt, and Caroline has to compel Matt to, you got to right your wrongs there. Yeah. It makes him believe that an animal attacked him in the woods, which, the wolf was running around. We can just say it was the wolf. And Stefan says that he took care of Tyler, which I think is interesting, because we don't see him, like, compel him, or we don't see what he did. He just says, I took care of Tyler. And they will get Matt on some vervain so that Caroline will neither be able to compel him, but also will not be able to feed on him.
Right.
And so that's the plan. And they have a heart-to-heart about this whole situation.
Yeah,
and
Stefan basically tells her, it's going to be a struggle every day. You just have to keep working at it.
Yeah, and, like, you got lucky. You didn't kill him.
Yeah.
So
it worked out.
It's not a complete L.
Yeah.
And then on the other side of this, Tyler finds Mason's truck, which is all destroyed. The glass is shattered. Mason's, like, clothes are inside of it. Yep. It's very interesting. He's inspecting, and then just as he is, a naked and absolutely filthy Mason, as a human.
Covered in mud.
Yeah, literally covered in dirt, appears right behind him, and confirms that he was the wolf. Like, Tyler asks, I don't remember what he says specifically, but he's like something like, that was you.
That was you, yeah. And Mason gives a little nod.
Yeah. And so it's like, what did Stefan compel Tyler? He must have just, like, I don't know.
To not know they were vampire? Actually, I don't know. Did they even exhibit, like,
I think Stefan did a slight speed run situation, but Tyler, other than that, really didn't see much. So, anyway, that night has been a whole thing.
Yes. Briefly before we move on from this, I don't know what they were doing with that mud, but they gave Mason a little contour on his face or something. He looked amazing.
Okay, I was thinking the same thing, and I was like, I'm a crazy person. I'm not bringing this up.
I mean, I'm also insane, so this isn't helping anything. But like I'm just egging you on. But yeah, he looked amazing. I was like, Lady Gaga, I get it.
I was like, how did we not bring up in the first 2 episodes that this is Lady Gaga's, like, ex-fiance? But anyway, yeah, I thought the same thing. I was like, they did not just slap that mud on him. They were like using an angled brush. They were like, make the nose pop.
Yeah. It looks so good.
Why? I don't know. There is something to be said about, like, men being dirty. I've seen this on TikTok where people are like, men covered in mud, hot. Like,
yeah, there's something about it. It's as close as men get to makeup.
I don't know about that, but sure. But some men look way better covered in mud, and he's one of them.
He is.
Him and that guy from Outlander, those two. They look great.
I'm trying to think anyone else.
There's a few of them.
This is an off-screen discussion.
Yeah. This is a question for later. Maybe we'll have to have a whole special episode about this.
Hot men in mud.
Yeah, you guys tell us who else is hot in the mud because Mason's on the list.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Yeah.
Just want to know.
Just a note for
For
later.
research purposes.
Yeah. Anyway, back to the Mystic Girl as always. That's if we don't have a scene at the Mystic Girl, did we even have a scene? No. So we're at the Mystic Girl. Caroline has gone there to find Matt, who is talking to Amy again. This is what I will say against Matt. Okay.
Caroline, in the earlier scene, I'm 50-50.
Yeah.
In this scene, I'm like, Matt, I hate you.
You know, Matt earlier was like, Matt wasn't the one flirting with Amy earlier. And so I feel like, you know, I can see how it's like Caroline was being unjustified in the first one. Yeah. This one, Caroline has explicitly told Matt, I don't like you talking to Amy. I know she has a crush on you. And he still is talking to her. And like, I get Matt does say like, oh, she's harmless. Like, it's fine. But it's also like, dude, if your girlfriend tells you specifically, I don't like you talking to this girl because I know she's flirting with you, don't talk to her. Like, I don't get it. It's like, I just feel like, why would you do something to upset your girlfriend when she's explicitly already told you? Like, it'd be one thing if Amy was like his best friend, but like, come on, they've never interacted before. Matt can just avoid this one girl.
Yeah. The other thing that I think hurts this conversation is, I mean, obviously the conversation earlier was flirty, but like Matt says, harmless. But we as the viewer know Amy does actually like Matt.
Caroline's right.
Yeah, so Caroline is justified. Like, it gives more context as the episode goes on that makes it less excusable, which Matt might not know that, but still.
But again, if this was just a random girl in your class that your girlfriend's told you to not talk to because she clearly has a crush on you, why upset your girlfriend? Just don't
why
talk to her.
do it? Like, I don't know.
Matt's annoying.
I don't know.
So anyway, whatever. They go have a whole fight about this because Matt's like, she's harmless, it's fine, yada, yada, yada. And he goes to leave, and then she's like pissed at him, and then it's like, are we breaking up? It's like, yeah, we're breaking up. Yeah. Matt and Caroline just break up right then and there over this.
It's so weird.
It's so stupid.
Like also, Matt just like walks away, and Caroline's like, so are we broken up? Like, what's going on? And he's like, yeah.
It's
so weird.
It's so stupid. She almost died a week ago. Matt, what is wrong with you? 1 week ago, you were, oh, baby, poor baby.
Oh, my God, baby. Yeah.
And now this week, you can't even just not talk to a girl who is clearly flirting with you because your girlfriend asked you to. Ridiculous. It's insane. Like, we just need to move on because Matt's annoying.
Yeah, I could talk about this for hours. So
R.I.P. to this relationship. Also, there's going to be more to say because they get back together, so whatever.
I know. My last thing, I always forget how long this relationship lasts.
Oh, it drags.
It kills me.
I know. I used to, when we used to talk about the show, like, just in general, I remember I was always like, I like Matt and Caroline. Now I'm like, no, I see where I went wrong.
This has lasted forever.
And they're not good for each other.
No.
They were for like 2 episodes. Yeah. No longer.
It's over.
Anyway. At the Gilbert house, speaking of relationships that are good for each other, here's one that actually is. Yes. At the Gilbert house, Jenna is at home. Somehow Alaric got there first before Damon and Elena. Don't know how that timeline worked out. But he shows up, no words. He walks in and he kisses Jenna. Yeah. And they're back on. Our favorite season 1 couple back together again. Yeah. I think it's like Jenna said at the start, where it's like, just go do your thing, like clean up your whatever and come back when you're ready. And like, that's what he did. He went and he figured his shit out and he came back and was like, I'm ready.
Yeah, I love them. Also, Alaric's like, I should have done that this morning.
Yeah.
Love him. Love them.
We love a mature, healthy adult relationship.
Yes. Yeah. Not having a mature, healthy adult relationship. Outside, you know, Damon is trying to talk to Elena. I guess maybe Alaric like raced into the house because he was so uncomfortable.
On the porch. Probably.
But yeah, they're just out on the porch and Damon tries to approach Elena and is, you know, he's still trying to be light. He's still trying to
flirty, playful.
Yeah, trying to be playful. Hope that they can just get past it without him really having to apologize. Mm-hmm. So he tries to say, you know, like, road trips work well for us, this sort of thing. And Elena is, like, you know, still not really having any of it. And she asks him, like, you know, be honest with me. And she's insinuating that, you know, if he's just honest with her about the Jeremy thing, all will be well. So Damon does admit, which I forgot, okay? Damon says, no, I did not see the ring. I'm really he does apologize in this scene.
Yeah, he apologizes.
Yeah, he finally apologizes. He says, I'm really sorry. Katherine got to me. You know, I feel terrible about it, but I just snapped, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't see it, and I got lucky, and I'm so glad that he had that ring on.
Yes, exactly.
But like that was like a nail in a coffin for Elena. You know, she says that she will be angry. Like, he has lost her forever.
The answer to your earlier question, have I lost you forever, is yeah.
Yeah, you have. Which, you know, he then, okay, so then he immediately calls her out for being similar to Katherine.
Yes.
You know, he says, it's more than just the looks, because you used me today. You already knew that you would be, that you know, were going to be mad at me forever about this, and you used me to get info. Which I think is, you know, true in a way that Elena was, like, playing him. But I think on a wider extent, Elena is just lying to herself that she'll be mad at Damon forever because... Yeah. One, I think it's so ingrained in Elena to forgive people. I think it's
definitely.
I think one of the only people that Elena ever really hates and never forgives is Rebecca for whatever reason. But other than that, I feel like Elena can forgive pretty much anybody for anything.
True.
Granted, Katherine, I guess, is the other one that she really never forgives.
Yeah.
So granted, the killing Jeremy is a really hard line for Elena. But I think, like, yeah, although the interactions have been tense in this episode, like, I don't know, the tides have really shifted, and we'll talk about this more in the next one, too, where, like, even then, the vibes are shifting between them, like, every episode, and getting closer and closer to friendly again. So it's like, yeah, she is kind of like Katherine and trying to use Damon, but also, like, she's not like Katherine because the larger extent is she's lying to herself about how she feels about Damon.
Yeah.
So I don't know. The dynamics are not, I guess, not totally a lost episode for Delena, but
yeah,
the vibes are just weird. It's just a weird place for them.
Yeah, it's definitely not my favorite Delena episode, and they just kind of leave it there. They're just ends in this weird spot.
Ends with that of like she is going to be mad at him forever.
Yeah.
For now.
Last little scene before the episode's over.
Yeah.
The next morning, Caroline wakes up in bed, and who do we see? Miss Catherine Pierce.
Oh, yeah.
Standing over Caroline.
Yeah, for a visit.
Yeah, comes to say, like, hello, Caroline. We're going to have a lot of fun together.
Yeah, she gets so, like, friendly. She sits on the bed with Caroline, and she says, don't be frightened. Yep. We're going to have so much fun together.
Yep.
We haven't seen Katherine in a while. I think since she killed Caroline in the end of episode 1.
Yeah, I don't think so.
She wasn't in 2 at all, and then this is the first time we see her in this one. So she's clearly been putting her plans in motion in the sideline. She's in work, and Caroline is a big part of that plan, and we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
Which, again, clearly putting plans in motion. She's been invited in. She must have, on the sideline, got Liz to invite her in at some point. Just looking exactly like Elena has proven very useful in this town.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's gotten her a long way.
Yeah, she's probably made sure she's gotten invited into every house in this entire town at this point. Just 'cause, why not?
Yeah. Oh, I'm Elena. Can I bring you a little, like, treat? Yeah, I don't know, whatever. It'd be so easy.
It would be so easy, and I feel like Katherine must know all the tips and tricks on how to do that successfully.
For sure. Yeah.
So, that's where we end this episode. Next one's going to be all Katherine and her plans and what she's doing, and it will actually be Katherine's plan in the next one. So.
Yeah. Big, heavy flashback episode, next episode.
Yeah.
But for this episode, we had no deaths.
Yeah.
Probably because Katherine was gone for a lot of it.
Yeah, there's a lot of it. There's not a lot of deaths at the start of the season, other than the first episode where, of course, Caroline and Jeremy.
Yeah, Jeremy.
But other than that, it goes quiet for a bit, and this is one of them.
Yeah.
Not as quiet are out of pocket / things we would have done differently. I have a glaring big one that sticks out. Don't know if you're thinking of it, but I imagine you'll agree.
Maybe not.
What is your out of pocket? Did you have a?
So originally, when I was putting together my thoughts, I was thinking the thing I would do differently / out of pocket. I was like, Caroline's outfit. It's so horrendous. But I like the justification that we've sort of come up with. So now I'm not so sure. Now I feel like I don't really have anything besides maybe Tyler, just generally.
Well, so Tyler generally, but more specifically, using a cellar that was used to hold slaves as your makeout spot. That is wild.
Jail.
Literally jail. Yeah, not even out of pocket, just straight to jail.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
What's wrong with
That's
him?
genuinely what I would go with, yeah. Anyway, yes.
Anyway.
Moving on from next, we already talked about it. Best quote. I feel like there were a lot of lines I really liked in this episode.
Yeah.
But I think, so I guess I'll give like my honorable mention and then what I was actually going to go with. So for honorable mention, and I didn't go with it for my quote because it's kind of back, it's like a two-way conversation. So I feel like that's kind of cheating on the quote if it's two people. But
some of them need it.
Yeah, some of them need the context, and this one does. But as we said earlier, Matt and Caroline agree no more drama. Then at that later scene at the grill, Matt goes, I thought no more drama. And Caroline goes, well, I lied. I just love her.
I didn't even remember that one. That's a good one.
Yeah. It's not really like a quote because her line is just, well, I lied.
Yeah, but it's
just
funny. I know. I have a lot like that where the bounce back and forth is really like what makes it so good. There's a lot of good banter. And I have a lot of good Caroline ones. I have a few that I want to shout out. I don't have a strong winner, so I more so just have like 4 things I want to talk about. Yeah. And then we'll get to that. So 2 of them are Caroline because I do think Caroline, the sass levels are so strong. They're perfect.
I know what one of yours will be, and I really like that line too.
I'm curious.
You mentioned it earlier.
Well, okay, so the one is, so you're saying I'm basically an insecure, neurotic control freak on crack.
That's a good one.
That's a classic one. Love that. And then the other one I actually really like is when she is getting taught to hunt for rabbits with Stefan, and she says, isn't killing cute, defenseless animals the first step in becoming a serial killer?
Okay, that was really funny.
I just love that.
What I thought you were going to say was when she says to Stefan, you know, you have your serious face on, which is similar.
Okay, yeah. I thought about that one too, but again, you need the context of the back.
You need so much context.
And I was like, I think I'm supposed to just do a one-liner.
I was thinking that too. So we won't include that one, but that was also a good exchange.
Yeah. My others were Damon, of course. Of course. I had 2 Damon ones that I really loved. One short and sweet. If you want to see me naked, all you have to do is ask.
That's obviously
good. He's so generous.
It's so Damon. Yeah, he's so giving.
Yeah. It's just so funny. And the other one, it can't really be my best quote because it's like a long line, but I have to geek out for a second and talk about this line because I really like it. And
I know what you're going to say.
Do you actually?
Is this about the Bela Lugosi?
Yes.
Yeah, I knew it.
Yes.
I know you.
Classic. So I love this line at the start of the episode when Alaric comes to the house to talk about the werewolf situation. And Damon gives this great line. He says, if this Wolfman thing is true, I've seen enough movies to know it's not good. It means Mason Lockwood is a real-life Lon Chaney, and that little Tyler punk might very well be Lon Chaney Jr., which means Bela Lugosi, meaning me, is totally screwed. And it's a great line. Like, it sounds great. But we have to get into the movie history of this because I love old school movies. So Lon Chaney was a silent film actor who was known for like monster roles. He was known for doing really elaborate makeup monster looks. He was known as the man with 1,000 faces. He was most notable, I think, for Phantom of the Opera. But yeah, he's like a monster guy. So calling Mason like this monster guy like makes sense. And his son, Lon Chaney Jr., which is a real person. I didn't know. This is a real thing. This is why I wanted to get into this. Lon Chaney Jr. was an actor known most notably for a lead role as a werewolf in a movie called The Wolfman.
Wait, that's brilliant.
Yes, this is such a brilliant connection. And it's a film from like the 1940s that he was in. And then, so both of those guys are really, father and son, are really tied to this idea of like werewolf and monsters. They're both name dropped in the song Werewolves of London. Like they're both like werewolf kind of characters. Yeah, it's great. And then, of course, Bela Lugosi. He's most known for 1932's Dracula. So, of course, that's why Damon would be him because he's a vampire. But interestingly, he's also in that Wolfman movie where he plays a man that the werewolf kills. So I don't know which one Damon was referencing, probably Dracula, but I don't know. It worked really well. I was like, oh my God. I was like,
oh, dude,
out.
We have to go with that. I didn't know any of this, like any of what you just said. I vaguely knew like Bela Lugosi.
Yeah.
So I knew that's what you were going to want to talk about.
Yeah, but the werewolf, like, the wolf. But it's like, no, when you really go into the layers of that, you're like, Damon is so smart with the pop culture references. That was on par with like a Gilmore Girls episode.
Yeah, that is brilliant. We have to go with that.
It's so good. Favorite. I'm not going to re-say the line because it's so long.
There's no way.
But the Lon Chaney Jr., Bela Lugosi, Wolfman. Oh, brilliant. Damon, so smart.
Love Damon.
That was a great line. Really give perks to whoever wrote that. We'll find you.
Pat on the back.
We love you. That was amazing.
Yeah. That's definitely it.
Great quote. What was your winner? You had another quote, didn't you?
Oh, mine is so nothing now that you said that.
I gave a whole rant about that.
All I was going to pick was road trips work well for us because I thought it was cute.
That is
so
really
true.
Cute. I don't know if this road trip worked that well for them, but
it didn't. So it doesn't really fit with the episode. So we got to go with Lon Chaney Jr.
Yeah, the werewolf, vampire, 1930s, 1940s film references is just too deep cut to not
it's really,
appreciate.
Really good.
So that'll win our best quote. That was a really fun one.
Yeah.
Love of film references, and I'm waiting for more.
Very good.
I love getting those. Last, though, kind of like a little fall off here
It's
is our song of the episode. There were 6 songs that were played throughout the episode, but none of them for me were really memorable. None of them really stuck out. I had to look them all up after the episode to even know what played. Like, nothing stuck out to me at all.
Yeah.
I picked a winner, but I don't really feel that strongly. So I don't know if you have a nominee or you just want to have like one song that you want to call out.
Yeah, I picked a song only because I felt like I had to.
Yeah, we have to.
Yeah, but I did the same thing. I looked it up. I actually should have written down what scene it even was in, but I didn't. I think it's at the end when Damon and Elena are talking.
Oh, you went with the sad one. Back on the sad song.
Well, now that
you're gonna do
called out. Back on the sad train. I think it was Ashes and Wine by A Fine Frenzy. That's all I went with.
Yeah, I did like that. I thought about that one to nominate, but I was honestly just so like about all of them.
Yeah.
And when I listened to them, the one that I was like, I kind of like the vibes of this one the best. It was the most like kind of fun, playful, because it plays at Tyler's party, like when they first show up with Matt. And Mason shows up and talks to them. It's called Fantasy Friend Forever by the Asteroid Galaxy Tour. I thought that was just like a fun one. But honestly, I don't know how we're going to pick because I feel not strongly about either one.
Yeah, no, me neither. Maybe we should do like an Instagram poll or something. I don't know.
Honestly, let's do an Instagram poll.
Okay.
Let's throw it to the fans. You guys pick. You guys get to pick this week's best song.
Yeah. Player's choice.
Yeah, player's choice. We'll
That
throw
works.
it on the Instagram on Monday so that you guys can vote. So this is Thursday. If you're watching it the day it came out, Monday it'll be on the Instagram. So then on Wednesday we can announce the winner. So you guys get to choose.
That's pretty fun.
Yeah,
Love that. Okay.
Throwing something in there.
Yeah, why not? Try something new.
Yeah, might as well.
All right.
Let them pick. We can't.
Yeah, I definitely have no idea.
Yeah. So that wraps up all of our nominees. Once you guys pick the best song, we will add it to our playlist. We have a playlist with all of the best songs from all of the episodes that we've watched and reviewed so far. So you can find that linked in our bio and descriptions. And you can also find our TikTok and our Instagram where we'll be running that poll. And we'll also have lots of various other clips, memes, and other things from these episodes.
Yeah, and you can listen to the episode on Apple Podcasts and Spotify if you're not already. And you can watch the video version on YouTube if you're not already. So join us next week for Season 2, Episode 4, Memory Lane.
Flashback.
That's how you know it's going to be Flashback Central. Yeah,
it is Flashback Central. So looking forward to seeing you there. Thanks for watching and or listening to this one. Bye.
Bye.